Dr. Subhash Technical Campus, Junagadh. In this video, we will discuss design of gantry girder. Subject design of steel structure 8 SEM. So in previous part, we discuss about overview of design of gantry girder, which are the codal provision are mentions in our IS 800 to design a gantry girder, which are the shapes and which are the types of gantry girder we covered in part 1. Today's in this part we will cover the design procedure and solve one example of design of gantry girder. So, gantry girder. So, as per our discussion in first part, gantry girder are laterally supported a beam to carry heavy load from place to place at the construction site. Mostly they are for steel materials. So, gantry girder use we will discuss in part 1. Here I will can quick revision of these properties of gantry girder. So you can see this figure. The gantry girder are used in a workshop or any sites to equip heavy loaded equipments and place one place to another place. So it's generally made up by steel. Now these are the types of shape we can use as a gantry girder. In that I girder, I plus channel section, I plus angle section, plate girder, channel plus web and flange plate, and gantry truss using I joints. So generally we preferred I plus channel for the economy for gantry girder. Then rest of this angle are used as per our design requirements. Now wheelbase. So wheelbase means distance between two wheel resting on gantry girder. This depends upon span of crane across the shop. The wheelbase may be taken as follow. You can see the figure over there. There are a gantry girder on that. Wheel load should be motion throughout the longitudinal length, and between two center to center length it should be a wheelbase, and between two center to center rail it will be a crane span. So as per the maximum wheelbase up to 8 meters span by 3, 8 to 12 meter it should be 3.6 meter, and above 12 meter span by 6. So these three criteria will be covered according to span of wheel base decide on span of crane girder. Support. So gantry girder may be supported on bracket attached to the column or step column or separate column set on inner side of the main column. So there are the three way we can support the gantry girder shape. You can see that gantry girder is our I plus C channel. It's supported in first condition. Gantry girder supported on bracket attached to the column. We provide the bracket attached to the column, and on that we should provide gantry girder. Our second alternate arrangement, gantry girder supported on step column. We should consider a step column while we considering the column erection, and on that we provide the gantry girder. And our third arrangement, gantry girder supported on separate column. We should provide a separate column for resting the gantry girder. But in our general case, we should provide bracket connection through the column to provide the gantry girder. So there are the three way, and that way support should be provided on gantry girder. Now allowance of impact wheel load. So the following allowance are made to cover all the forces caused by vibration, shock form, slipping and sliding, kinematic action, and acceleration of reduction and impaction of wheelbase. So these are the types of load and how we allowed on gantry girder. So first you can see in table wheel load or erection operated crane. So additional load 25% in maximum static wheel load. So we can trade additional 25% in maximum static wheel load. Vertical loads on hand operated crane 10% of maximum steel static wheel load. Third one, horizontal force, in that for erection operated electric operated crane and hand operated crane. In electric operated crane we can say EOT, 10% of weight of crane plus crane capacity. Weight of crab means trolley. Hand operated crane 5% of weight of crab plus crane capacity. And horizontal transaction force along the rail, it should be taken as 5% static wheel load. Now we discuss about load on gantry girder. So vertical load transmitted by the crane and lateral force transmitted due to sudden stopping and starting of the crab, or you can say trolley on the crane. So the longitudinal force transmitted due to sudden stopping and starting of the crane. So there are the two force, starting and sudden force. First one when the crab is move and stop, and the second one is crane is move to the stop. Here you have to mention that when your crab should be move or stopping, it should be a force transmit to the lateral force. But when the crane is starting and stopping, your load should be in longitudinal direction. That's why it should be a longitudinal force. So you can see the figure of arrangement of crane girder. Here you can say the truss, below that the crab or trolley should be moved, and A and B are the brackets when the gantry girders are moved. So the gantry girders are moved in longitudinal throughout the workshop, and the crab or the trolley should be moved in parallel to the gantry girder. So both the motion are different size and different condition or direction for the moving load. Next, design procedure of gantry girder. So in design procedure part 1 we will elaborate more, but here some overview of design of gantry girder. So determination of first of all maximum wheel load. So we can identify maximum wheel load based on gantry girder. Then after, maximum vertical shear force and maximum vertical bending moment for the gantry girder. For that we draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. Third, determine the corresponding wheel loads and appropriate lateral force also. Fourth one, analysis and selection of gantry girder. And fifth are checking the criteria that should be our selection gantry girder are okay or not. Next we start one problem, so we can got the idea about the design of gantry girder. So design a gantry girder to be used in industrial building carry a manual operated traveling crane for following data. Here you have to given the following data regarding design of gantry girder. First of all, one, crane capacity is 200 kilonewton. Self weight of crane girder excluding trolley is 200 kilonewton. Set weight for trolley 40 kilonewton. Approximate minimum approach of crane hook 1.2 meter. Wheelbase 3.5 meter. Distance between gantry girder rails 36 meters. Distance between column 8 meter. Self weight of rail section 300 Newton per meter. Diameter of crane wheels 150 mm. So our first step, first of all we decide the partial safety factor. So load factor gamma m0, gamma mw and gamma m1. So generally epsilon in our data we will take 250 grade of steel as a Fy. So our epsilon is 1. Now next step number 2, maximum wheel load. So maximum concentrated load on crane 200, it means trolley load plus hook load 40 kilonewton. So overall load on crane is equal to 240 kilonewton. Now maximum factor load, so converted into the factor load, it should be a 360 kilonewton. Now factored uniform distributed load converted into the UDL load. So 200 divided by 36, that is our span of crane girder, multiplied by 1.5. So we get finally UDL of 8.33 kilonewton. So in this step we evaluate total maximum concentrated load, or you can say the point load on wheel, and throughout the span what should be the uniform distributed load. So here you can see that figure. Our UDL is 8.33 kilonewton per meter entire span, and our maximum concentrated load 360 kilonewton at minimum hook approach of 1.2 meter at left end. So in first step we calculate maximum wheel load and UDL. Now taking moment about B, and we can find out RA and RB. So first we find out RA, taking moment about B. So RA is equal to 498 kilonewton and RB is equal to total load minus RA. It means 161.88 kilonewton. Now we calculate load on each wheel. So generally two wheel are act on a gantry girder. So 498 divided by 2, maximum reaction will be take as a load wheel. So we will take RA. So 498 divided by 2, it means 249 kilonewton load on each wheel. Now total weight of section. So I plus channel section plus rail section. These are the total load of section. So I section 1432.4, channel section 351.2, our rail section weight 300. It should be 2.3 kilonewton per meter. So per meter this total weight of section is 2.3 kilonewton. Converted into the factor, so it becomes 3.41 kilonewton per meter. Now the arrangement should be done to finding out the reaction at RC and RD is nothing but our crane girder reaction. So total static wheel load 249 kilonewton. Between two wheel we give the data of 3.5 meters distance and total UDL on entire the span 3.45. So now taking the moment at RC and find out RC and RD. So RC you can see 303.46 kilonewton and RD 194.5 kilonewton. Now we calculate moment. So RC is equal to 3.125. Now how we calculate the 3.125? So total 8 meter span are there. So at the center it should be 4 minus 0.875. So it should be a 3.125. It's the distance between RC and first wheel load. So taking moment and find out moment 591 kilonewton per meter. It should be a total moment act and a maximum shear force. Next, we will discuss about maximum shear force. So we already calculate static wheel load. It should be a condition when you find out maximum shear load. Your first wheel should be act on a end. So we will take RC above RC. We will take maximum shear should be taken as RC. So taking moment about D, you can see that arrangement of figure. Two static wheel load act. First wheel should be act on a left hand and second will be on 3.5 meter. So taking moment about D and find out RC, because we know that maximum should be RC. So we doesn't calculate about RD. So RC should be 389.06 kilo Newton. Next we find out impact load. In that there are the vertical force to the rail. So machine operated it should be 25% of wheel load, but here our crane is hand operated. So we will take 10% wheel load. So 10% of static wheel load 249 into 10 divided by 100, it means 24.9 kilonewton. So now we get impact load 24.9 kilonewton on the basis of 3.5 meter between two wheels and total span is 8 meter. Again we calculate RCD, RC dash and RD dash taking moment about C. So we know that RC dash is equal to 30.34 kilonewton, RD is equal to 19.46 kilonewton. We will take calculating the moment. So 19.46 multiplied by 3.125. So our moment is 16.81 kilonewton per meter. So the total moment 591 our previous moment and this one is 16.81. So total moment will be taken as 651.81 kilonewton into meter. Next we find out horizontal force to rail, or you can say the drag force. So we will take 5% of horizontal force. So 240 multiplied by 5%, so 12 kilonewton we will take. Converted into the factors, so finally we got 12 kilonewton. So lateral force on each wheel is equal to 18 kilonewton divided by 2. It means per wheel load 9 kilonewton. Again find out maximum bending moment due to this lateral force. So we will calculate by proportionally. At the 9 kilonewton is 6.81. So what should be the 249 kilonewton? So we will take 2.2 kilonewton per meter. Now we calculate MdZ, design moment in Z direction. So we know that equation of MdZ. So finally MdZ we will calculate 187.44 kilonewton into meter, but it should be less than or equal to 218.29 kilonewton per meter. So our design moment is check OK. Our third and preliminary trial section is about ZP. So first we calculate ZP 1.5 mz upon F5. So we already calculate the moment in Z direction, converted into the 1.5 divided by F5. So finally we got 3650.136 centimeter cube. So according to IS 800 2007 table number 4.6, we select ISWB 600 with ZP 39866.66 centimeter square. So our required ZP is 3650. We should provide 3986. So our ISMB 600 properties are taken according to tilt table. You can see over that BF, TF, TW, R1, IXX, IYY and area. Additional we provide I plus C. So select ISMC 300 at the 351 Newton per meter. So according to that, the steel properties of ISMC are TF, BF, TW, R1, IXX, IYY and area. So these are the steel property will be listed down according to steel table. Now we combine the I and C. So you can see that figure. Our I overall height is 600, the width is 250, overall our C is width is 300 and depth is 96. So finally we combine I plus C. So C should be provided at the top flange of our I. Next, moment of inertia of this gantry girder. Now we calculate the moment of inertia of that built up section. So first we find out Y bar. Y bar is nothing but summation of AY into summation of A. So we converted into A1 Y1, A2 Y1. So first our area A1 is nothing but the our area of channel section. So multiply by 300 plus 7.6. So A and Y1 is 307.6. Next, our channel area 4561 multiplied by 23.6. 23.6 is nothing but our CZZ of channel section. So finally Y bar is 247.59 mm at the top of channel section. So IZZ gross, it means I of beam plus I channel section. So we already know that IZZ of channel section and converted into I channel IZZ of beam plus IZZ of channel. So we got IZZ for built up section. So in our case we will calculate 135543 into 10 raised to 4 mm raised to 4 for built up IZZ. Next we taken A1, A2, A3, A4 is equal to A5, A6. So calculate A1, A2, A3 is equal to A3, A4 is equal to A5 and A6. So that equal area axis should be maintained. Then and then we got the plastic section modulus. So for equal area axis 600 minus 2 into 21.3 minus 480.83 is equal to A5 plus A6 is nothing but 76.57 mm. So now we introduce plastic modulus of section. So for that we find out ZPZ. So ZPZ we find out following this procedure regarding the individual section A1, A2, A3, A4 is equal to A5 plus A6. So finally we got ZP 4764935.97 mm raised to cube. So ZE we already calculate IZ upon Y. So IZ we know, Y we know. So ZE is 3766.98 into 10 raised to 3 mm cube. So in this step we find out ZPZ and ZE. It means section modulus for plastic and section modulus for elastic. According to that, after we calculating the ZPZ and ZE, we got section classification. So all of you know that for I section we take as ratio of BF, TW by TF and TW by TB. So outstanding of flange of I section, it should be less than 8.4 epsilon. In our case epsilon it should be 1. So web of I, hence all the entire criteria are satisfied, hence our entire section is plastic because we maintain equal axis area and introducing the plastic section modulus, then it should be must be converted into plastic. It should be not satisfy of 3 criteria, then check your calculation, it should be some mistake because we should introducing plastic modulus section, then your section should be converted into plastic, must be. Next, check for moment capacity. Again we calculate MDZ. Here for that ZP we calculate, so exact moment capacity of Z direction we calculate. So MDZ is equal to 1083.63 kilonewton into meter. It should be greater than 1026.81 kilonewton. Hence, moment capacity of the section is required. Okay. So, as per the our gantry girder shape is required 651.81 and we design 1026.81. It means is okay. Now we check combined check for the local capacity because we our gantry girder is move in Z and Y direction. So we require the combined capacity of moment. So in that the caudal provision is given the equation my upon mdy plus mz upon mdz. It should be less than or equal to 1. So we all four value are calculate. My is equal to 651.81, mdy is equal to 1026.81, mz is moment in z direction 2.2 and mdz it means design moment 187.44. so our this ratio should be 0.64. It means it should be less than is equal to less than or equal to 1. So our section is okay to register combined local moment. Next we calculate buckling resistance checks. So in that the equation is given to you in IS 800 MCR. So first we calculate MCR. Before that we calculate lambda y, IF and area. So our lambda LT is 8000 mm square, our length of span, HF is 607.6. Here total I is 600 mm, but we should provide channel section. So thickness of channel section should be 8. So overall HF is equal to 607.6. Here buckling resistance should be provided for the built up section. It means I plus C. So TF same way 21.3 for I and 7.6 for channel. So finally 28.9. Same way we calculate IYY area and lambda y is equal to under root of Ry Iy upon A. So it should be 71.56. So put all the value in the equation of MCR. We will calculate MCR is equal to 1610.78 into 10 raised to 6 Newton into mm. Next we calculate non-dimensional slenderness ratio is denoted by lambda LT. The equation is given in our IS 800. Lambda LT is equal to under root of beta B into ZP into Fy divided by MCR. So in our plastic section beta B should be 1. So lambda LT is equal to 0.86. Then we find out phi LT. Phi LT is also given in our IS 800. Phi LT is equal to 0.5. 1 plus alpha LT lambda LT minus 2 plus lambda LT square. So we calculate phi LT according to finding out lambda LT. So this codal provision are given in IS 800 clause number 8.2.2 page number 54. So first we find out lambda LT, phi LT, then we find out xi LT. After the calculating this all equation, we know that what is the design bending compressive strength. So find out FBD xi LT into Fy divided by gamma m0. So finally we know the design compressive stress is equal to 175 Newton per mm square for our built up section that should be provided as a gantry girder. Next check for design bending strength. So we already calculate MdZ. So MdZ is equal to 834.39 kilonewton into meter. So our required MD is 651, but we should achieve 834. It means our bending strength is okay to resist the moment. Now next, our checking step. So first we check shear capacity of check. In that we already know the maximum shear force, or you can say the vertical force converted into the impact load. So our total design shear force is equal to 427.96. So we calculate VD. VD is equal to nothing but H into TW into Fy under root 3 into Fy. So in that check for shear capacity, the clause codal provision is given in IS 800 clause number 8.4.1 page number 59. So our VD is 881.77 kilonewton into meter, and our requirement is shear resisting for 427. So we resist 881. So here shear capacity is also safe and check okay. The next check is web bearing capacity. So web bearing capacity is given clause number 8.37.3.1 on page number 67 IS 800. So we should provide buckling class, or you can say the combination of I and C. So our curve is C. So first we find out FW, before that find out B1 and N2. So B1 is 100 minus 150, N2 is 2.5 times TF plus RF, so is 96. FW is 626.18 kilonewton, and our requirement is 427. So our web is also resist safe bearing capacity of load. So hence buckling resistance is satisfactory value. Next, thank you. So these are the some step to finding out the check for buckling, bending, shear and shear capacity of cranes. So these few steps are for the checking of your trial section is okay or not. Thank you.